corner nations rise, with fire burning in their eyes, a tapestry of hopes and fears.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We've got the stack of source material here, articles, summaries, notes, all on Croatia, nailing down their spot for the 2026 World Cup.
Yeah, it's a big moment. And looking through this stuff, it's really interesting how it frames their journey.
Right. So our mission today really is to dig into all this and see what it tells us about, well, how they got here, where they stand now.
And what their chances actually look like, especially with this bigger 48-team tournament coming up.
Exactly. It's more than just getting there, isn't it? It's about the legacy, the game plan, that mix of, old hands and new blood.
That's a good way to put it. And the sources definitely suggest this qualification isn't just ticking a box. It feels like another major step for them.
Okay, so the headline news, nice and simple. Croatia. They're in. Officially qualified for 2026. Confirmed.
And yeah, the sources hammer home that this is for the expanded format. That changes things.
Right.
Different group stage, potentially more games.
Good point. So getting in now really does underline their status, right? They're consistently at the top table.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Which makes looking back at their whole story quite fascinating. It's been a pretty dramatic rise since independence.
It really has. I mean, getting FIFA recognition and then almost immediately making such a huge impact.
Yeah, that 1998 debut, wow. Coming third, that was just stunning.
Right. Booker with the golden boot, Goban leading.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just showing up.
No, it was like they arrived fully formed, It really carved out their whole football identity right from the get-go.
And the sources show that wasn't just a flash in the pan. They talk about the groundwork laid since then.
Mm-hmm. Things like domestic improvements, post-2016 especially, better stadiums, those youth academies, churning out talent for top clubs.
Yeah, and you can't forget the fans, right? Groups like the Bad Blue Boys, that home atmosphere is a real factor mentioned here.
Definitely. Those foundations matter for sustained success. It's not just about one golden generation.
And the recent results back that up. 2018, obviously, getting to the final was huge.
But it was how they did it, too, wasn't it? That grit. The sources highlight those 3 extra time wins.
Incredible. Modric just pulling the strings through all that pressure. Legendary stuff.
Totally. And they didn't just fade away after that. Look at the Nations League performance.
Back-to-back semis, 2022, 2023, and that final against Spain. So close.
Exactly. It cements them. They belong in that elite group consistently.
It makes you think about their ranking, too. The sources mention that jump from 125th back in 94 to being top 10 pretty much constantly since 2018.
Yeah, that's a climb, much steeper than the traditional big football nations. It says a lot, I think.
Oh, what exactly? The talent or something more?
Well, talent, yes, but also, the collective, the structure, the mentality. It's sustained.
A lot of that structure comes down to the coach, Zlatko Dalic. The sources seem to frame this next World Cup, the expanded one, as maybe his biggest challenge yet.
It's got to be, right? Bigger tournament, more variables. But his record since 2017, pretty solid. 54.8% win rate, 2 major finals.
Impressive. And tactically. The sources mentioned his preferred system.
Yeah, usually a fluid 4-3-3 lets them attack. But the key thing noted is his adaptability.
Oh, so?
Well, against stronger teams, the analysis points to him switching things up, moving to a 4-2-3-1 formation.
Okay, and the thinking behind that switch?
Yeah.
More defensive.
Exactly. Provides more cover, especially midfield. Helps with stability if the other team looks like they might dominate the ball or hit quickly on the break.
And the stats seem to back up that focus on structure. 12 clean sheets in the last 24 games. That's pretty good.
It's very solid. And they also mentioned set-piece efficiency, top 15 in Europe, both attacking and defending. That's huge in tournaments. Little details.
So structure first.
Yeah, but not only structure. Dalic has this quote here. We build from structure but allow creative sparks. It's about having that solid base but letting the talented players do their thing.
That balance sounds like it mirrors the squad itself.
Yeah.
The mix of experience and youth we talked about. Modric still looms large, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Even with club changes, the sources are clear. He's vital. 172 caps. It's not just his play, it's his leadership. That experience in the dressing room, calming things down, guiding the younger guys.
Yeah, that's invaluable. But there are challenges mentioned too, right? Injuries.
Kovacic being out is noted as impacting their midfield depth. That's a significant absence, creates a bit of a vulnerability maybe.
But I guess that opens the door for others, these emerging talent the sources name.
Exactly. Players like Martin Fruk, Luka Vukovic, and Martin Baturina, who they say is getting more consistent in midfield. They bring that freshness.
And how are they managing that blend? The sources talk about strategy there.
Yeah, some interesting details, like specific injury management for the older guys, reduced training loads during the busy club season, trying to keep them peaking for the national team. And integrating the youth seems quite deliberate, not just checking them in. Plus, there's this stat ranked third in UEFA for breaking high-intensity presses.
Okay, breaking high presses. What does that mean in practice? Why is being third best at it so significant?
Well, it basically means when teams try to swarm them high up the pitch, try to win the ball back immediately near Croatia's goal, they don't panic.
Right.
They have the skill and the tactical setup to play through that pressure effectively, pass their way out. Being third in Europe means it's a real strength, not a fluke. It lets them keep the ball and build attacks even when opponents are trying to, suffocate them. Big advantage.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. And Dalic's quote about the squad kind of sums it up, doesn't it?
Which one's that?
Our veterans know how to win tight games, but the kids bring the energy we'll need for 7 matches. He's clearly thinking about the demands of the full tournament.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the physical side, preparing for potentially 7 games in North American summer conditions. That's a huge task.
Yeah, and the sources get really specific here. It's not just general fitness, is it? It's tailored programs.
Very tailored. They mention using GPS tracking to manage individual player load. Even using heat chambers to simulate humidity. They specifically mention Houston as an example.
Wow, heat chambers. They're really going into detail.
Seems like it. And the head physio, Tomislav Drušak, his quote is quite telling. Recovery is non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. Strong words. So it's central to everything.
It has to be. They list specific things too. Modric getting that reduced training load we mentioned, special nutrition plans for all the travel between cities.
And even drills for Gvardiol, linking his agility work to his tackle success rate, which is apparently 91%. That's incredibly high.
It really is. It paints a picture of, meticulous planning on the physical side. Every little bit counts over a long tournament.
Building resilience, not just fitness.
Exactly. So you've got the tactics, the squad blend, and this intense physical prep. Then you look at the key individuals who can make the difference, the X factors.
Who stands out in the sources? Perisic.
Definitely. His versatility is huge. Winger, wingback, plus the experience, 126 caps, 33 goals. And his crossing 42% accuracy is good, but they also note his high expected assists.
Expected assists. Explain that quickly. What does a high number there really tell us?
Right. So XA, expected assists, it measures the quality of the chance created by a pass. Is it likely to become an assist? Based on where the pass is from, where it goes, stuff like that.
Okay.
So a high XA like Perisic means he's consistently putting the ball into dangerous areas, creating really good scoring opportunities for teammates, even if they don't always score from them. He's a major creative outlet.
Got it. Makes sense. And defensively, the big name is Gvardiol.
Yeah, still just 21, which is amazing, but he's the anchor back there. Sources praise his calmness, his ability to pass out from the back, 85% progressive pass accuracy.
Correct pass accuracy. So passes that move the ball forward significantly.
Exactly. He's not just playing it safe sideways. He starts attacks. Combine that with his reading of the game, 4.1 interceptions per match mentioned here. He stops danger and gets them going forward.
Sounds like a complete modern defender.
Pretty much. And they mentioned Josip Udalo, who's 23, playing well alongside him, so maybe building a young, solid partnership there for the future.
And the keeper, Livakovic.
His big plus noted here is penalty saving, a 38% success rate in knockout games.
Yeah.
That's massive.
Huge psychological edge, right?
Absolutely. For the whole team, knowing you've got him back there if it goes to spot kicks, it fits with what Dalic said about training like it's a playoff from the start. Every detail matters.
Yeah, that quote, our players train like it's a 10-game playoff, sets the tone.
And they'll need that mentality in the upcoming matches mentioned. June qualifiers against Gibraltar, Czech Republic, then Faroe Islands and Montenegro in September.
Good opportunities to test things out, presumably.
Yeah.
Fine-tune the tactics.
Exactly. Test that flexibility. And the analysis here offers a sneak peek at their strengths in different scenarios.
Like what?
Well, against teams that sit back, like Faroe Islands, they dominate the ball, 83% average possession cited. Against counterattacking teams, like Montenegro, they win more duels in midfield, a 12% edge noted.
So they can adapt their style.
Seems so. And they complete way more passes than their group average, 2.1 times more. Suggests they can control the tempo.
Okay, so pulling it all together, looking towards North America in 2026,
Yeah.
it really feels like they're aiming to build on 2018, maybe go one better, redemption.
That feels like the narrative, yeah. And all that specific prep, the climate training, the recovery focus, it's all geared towards handling the unique challenges of that tournament. Summer heat, travel.
And there are other factors mentioned too, aren't there, off the pitch?
Yeah, things like the potential boost from Croatian diaspora fans in the U.S. could create a real home-away-from-home feel.
That could be massive.
Plus, the commercial side success feeds back into funding talent development back home. And tactically, that discipline under Dalic might be well-suited to navigating VAR, fewer rash decisions.
Good point. So, given everything, the history, the recent consistency, like the Nations League, the coach, the players, the prep, what's the baseline expectation according to these sources?
The consensus seems to be, based on that Nations League pedigree especially, that reaching the quarterfinals is perhaps the minimum expectation.
Right. So we've painted this picture, haven't we? Croatia's journey to 2026.
Yeah.
It weaves together this incredible history, Dalic's structured but sparky tactics, managing injuries, bringing through youth, that super detailed physical prep.
Yeah, you see a team built on that resilience, that tactical smarts, with players who can provide that bit of magic.
It does leave you with a big question, though, doesn't it? You look at their record, always fighting above their weight, their elite form recently, this specific preparation. Is a quarterfinal really just the minimum? Or could this blend actually push them even further, aiming for that ultimate prize again in North America?
That's the fascinating thing to watch, isn't it? Could they really do it again, or even go one step further this time? Something for all of us, and you listening, to think about as we get closer.